All right, the one sport athlete versus the multiple sport athlete, and why you should be a multi-sport athlete. When I was growing up, I was playing multiple sports. I was playing all kinds of sports. I was boxing, baseball, football, basketball, track and field, you name it, I was doing it, okay? And what I wanted to do at that age was just have fun. You know, when you're young, you're just playing sports to have fun. You're hanging out with your friends, you're developing. One thing with me, especially with a lot of those body weight, core strength sports that really helped me, like the boxing, I noticed that I was stronger than all the other kids. I was more athletic than all the other kids. And I know genetics has a lot to do with it, but I firmly believe the more sports that you're playing at a younger age, the more motor skills you're learning, okay? The more the athleticism is going to develop, okay? If I'm just playing one sport, you're not going to develop in all these athletic qualities, okay? Strength being the number one athletic quality that is the basis for all other activities in sports, okay? I have to have strength to have power, okay? I have to have strength to have speed strength, which is power, okay? If I don't have that base level strength, I'm not going to have the power, which is the explosion on the field, okay? So, saying that, you need to be doing these other sports. You need to be playing all these other sports. If you're just a one-sport athlete, you're going to be behind the 8 ball. Now, for me, you know, once I hit 15 to 16 years old, I had quit all other sports. I had just focused on baseball. That was what I wanted to do. I was a D1 prospect, and I was like, hey, I'm going to maximize my potential as a baseball player. Well, here's the news flash. When you're 16 years old, you might not know everything that you're doing. It might not be right, okay? So I'm busting my butt in the weight room. I'm getting strong as can be, okay? My 18-year-old year comes around. I'm a senior in high school. I've already got my commitment to South Alabama. Go Jags. And I'm playing. I'm hitting BP in front of some pro scouts a couple months before draft time. There's some guys that might be interested in me. I take a hack. Boom. I break my back. I fracture my L4, L5, and S1 in my lower back, the pars bones. I tear some ligaments and muscles surrounding my lower back. It ends up putting me out for 22 months through into my college career. And then I played another year or two with my back and all these other issues and these problems that back injury caused me. Because I had to. I had no choice. So I firmly believe now to this day that if I would have focused on being a multiple sport athlete longer, if I would have done it longer into my career in high school, it would have not only developed me more athletically, even though I was already a really good athlete, but it also would have helped me prevent focusing on one side of the body with the constant rotation that baseball happens from the throwing and the hitting on that one side, okay? That one side turned into creating the fractures in my back. And so you're trying to prevent injury in the long run, even though you might not think it by playing multiple sports, but you're developing those athletic qualities. So take it from me, learn from me. Don't be that guy that just focuses on one sport, because it could ultimately lead to injury. And injuries, if you look at the statistics, the injuries are a lot higher for the people that are focusing on one sport year-round. Now, saying that, if you look at college scouts, they love multi-sport athletes, okay? They love the athleticism that they provide. And even though I was a multi-sport athlete, I kind of quit a little early on those other sports at 15 years old. Maybe it would have helped me a little bit better. Maybe I would have been healthier once I got to college. So, if I'm a senior in high school and I'm playing multiple sports, that's going to be more attractive to college baseball scouts because of the athleticism, because of being able to learn from multiple coaches and having that drive and that humbleness that you get from playing from under different coaches. So, here's the thing, is if you are a one-sport athlete, you better be busting your butt in the weight room. And I'm not talking about lifting by yourself. It makes me laugh when I hear kids saying, I'm going to lift by myself this off-season. You don't know what you're doing, okay? Unless your father or unless your mother, your parents have a background in strength and conditioning, you're just going in there to lift, okay? You're just lifting, you're looking at the mirror and lifting body parts. I mean, if you don't know what the posterior chain is, if you don't know that you're training movements as an athlete, not muscles as an athlete, you need a strength coach that knows what he's doing. Not some guy that watched the DVD and is implementing strength training workouts. Somebody that actually has the education and has been under the bar and has the training to work with athletes, okay? If you're not doing that, you're going to increase your risk of injury, because again, you're just going to the weight room and you're just doing conventional wisdom exercises, like for instance bench press for a baseball player, which is horrible for baseball players. You need to be doing a variation of those exercises. So if you don't have a strength coach and you're just lifting on your own, that's something you need to think about, okay? And if you are a one sport athlete, you need to be doing that strength coach, you need to be working that strength training and having a strength coach to prevent those injuries, okay? I was in high school, I was lifting all the time, I was getting strong. The problem was I didn't know low back, posterior chain, I wasn't working my backside like I should have been doing. That ultimately also led to that injury. So if I'm sitting there and I'm looking versus a multi-sport athlete versus a one-sport athlete, those are some of the criteria I'm looking at and I'm seeing when it comes to development. Now, lastly, the biggest thing about multiple sport athletes is at the younger ages, okay? I see these young kids, all right? We're focusing on drills, whether it's baseball instruction or strength training. The guys that are playing these multiple sports are so far more developed and ahead of the guys that are one-sport athletes. When it comes to the strength, when it comes to the speed, when it comes to the body weight exercises, when it comes to being able to perform drills, whether it's a hitting drill or a pitching drill, they have the core stability and the strength that those one-sport athletes don't, because those one-sport athletes spend 9 months out of the year doing nothing, okay? They're not focusing on these other sports. They're not focusing on developing all these other athletic qualities. And that right there puts you behind the 8 ball immediately. You know, you're 6 to 12 years old and you're only focusing on one sport. Those guys that are playing those other sports, they're going to continue to get better and better and better than you. Unless you are physically gifted genetically, they're going to continue to get better than you and they're going to be way ahead of you for the long run. So keep this in mind, okay? Multi-sport athletes versus one-sport athletes. You want to be a multi-sport athlete, okay? That's going to develop you the most and make you the best athlete you can be. If you are a one-sport athlete, you better be in the weight room and you better have a strength coach that knows what he's doing. Don't just go in there and go through the motions. Learn the body, train the body, prepare the body. This is Laird's Training. Like and subscribe. Out.